Hi, my name's Lee, and I want to just continue to follow up about how we honor people and what we call love. And one of the things that I've heard a lot with lately, as we look at life, we try to find the things that are valuable to what we do, and we look deep. I'm one of those people. I tend to be the guy that looks for the books that deal with relationship on a regular basis. I look for them, I find them, I read them, and then I figure out how to apply them to my life. Years ago, there was a book that came out by Gary Chapman, and it dealt with what we call the 5 languages of love, determining that each person had a language that they spoke, so to speak. One of them was words of affirmation. You're doing awesome. You're doing a great job. You know, always affirming the person. That's their love language. Another one had to do with quality time. I happen to be a time person. I would rather have you spend time with me than anything else in the world. If that's how we're going to maintain a relationship, that's what I want to do. I have a daughter who is big on gifts. She loves receiving them and she loves giving them. And that's really important to her. If you want to rock her world, just give her a gift. If she comes to see you, she's inclined to walk through the door with flowers or candy or something for your house. Not because she's trying to buy your love, but because that's how she speaks. My wife, she operates under the heading of what is described as acts of service. She loves to serve. She would rather do anything else in the world. She would rather walk into a place, she helps clean dishes, she'll walk into a kitchen at the church building or something like that, and she'll begin to do what she feels it needs to be done. The final one is physical touch. One of my grandchildren, he just loves to be touched. You could sit there, he likes having his hair played with, he likes to sit with you, he likes to be tight to you. And those are what Gary Chapman described as the 5 languages of love. Yesterday I talked about honor and how important I think it is when we recognize that honor is just an expression of love. And so we look at these 5 languages of love and we say they're really good things. We want to affirm people that need to be affirmed. We want to have time spent with those that need time spent. We want to serve. We want to have, we want to give gifts to those that appreciate giving gifts, and we want to touch those that want to be touched. But one of the things I've thought about in terms of honor, and it's really been creeping into my thinking lately, is so often we've come back to this place where this is my language and this is how I want to be treated. And I don't disagree with that because I honor that in each person. But one of the things that I've begun to notice in the process is many, many years ago, missionaries went to countries and they westernized them rather than Christianized them. Rather than bringing them to the fullness of Christianity, they brought them Western culture. And so what we end up with is people who wear suit and ties all the time, even though it could be 120 degrees. And I'm not saying we shouldn't wear suit and ties. I believe in that as an honor. And I don't perceive it as being religious. I perceive it as being what it is. But some of the things we brought in 30 years ago had to do with legalism and structure, and it has to be this way, and if you're going to do something you have to do it this way. And we taught them, we went to their country, and rather than learning their language, we took them American language. We took our English language from America and we brought them phrases and we brought them phraseology and thought process, and what we ended up with is cultures in places like Africa and Asia that act more like America than sometimes America does, because we had this we've had this time warp, so to speak. What was taught 30 years ago has begun to manifest in some of those places, and America's grown on. We've gone on in what we are and who we are in our culture. And that brings me to this place, that if we're going to have these languages of love, if I'm a time person and you give me a gift, you need to hear my heart. My heart appreciates the gift, but not as much as I would appreciate it if you spoke my language. My wife is a service person. Whereas I appreciate time and time spent with someone, my wife appreciates service. So if I want to speak her language, even if she's returning from being gone a few days, making sure the dishes are done, making sure the dishes are put away, that the trash is out, that the floor is swept. See, people want to say, well, that's conditional love. Well, I think we've used the word unconditional love to get away with a lot of things. And so what I do want to say is there are some conditions to love, so to speak. Not from a biblical perspective, but if I really want to love you, I need to speak your language. If I want to be a blessing to my daughter who appreciates gifts, then giving her a small gift is the way to do it. It speaks her language. Now we're even. Now I'm not talking from a place here or a place here, but I'm speaking evenly to her. If one of my grandchildren who likes, just to sit up, one of my granddaughters will come up and she'll be sitting on the other side of the living room and I'll be sitting here and I'll put my computer down and I'll go, do you want to sit with me? And she'll fly across the room and she'll plunk herself right next to me. Does she love me? Yes. But more importantly, it's her language. We're not going, hey, why don't we clean the room together? I'm not demeaning the person who appreciates acts of service. I'm simply saying that's not my granddaughter's language of love. So if we're going to continue on in the mode of honor, then I'm going to make the recommendation that we learn to speak the language of those we want to be a blessing to, those we want to honor. We spent many years trying to figure out the language of women and the language of men. And, men are from Venus and women are from Mars or vice versa. Or, women are like spaghetti in their thinking and men are like waffles. Whatever those things are. We devoted a lot of time to that. And we devoted a lot of time to languages of love. But now what I'm going to express to you, let's devote ourselves to a communication of honor. Let's learn to honor one another through our actions, but more importantly, through the language that person, that individual speaks. Thanks. God bless you. Be back with another one soon.